What's going on, guys? This is Dumb Orange 927 here, back again for another video. And here today, guys, I am discussing probably something that I'm a bit late on. My thoughts overall on Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 right now is basically on its way of, basically releasing on February of 2017. Now, so so that way you guys can think my opinion's valid. I have studied Halo Wars 2 story-wise, and I've also played the beta. I played the beta, not much of it, but I have played it. And I want to give my initial thoughts on the game, and not only my thoughts on the game as a whole, but the potential that it can lie for Halo 6. Because it's like Halo Wars 2 looks like a game with a ton of potential, considering that, honestly, the remote truth is to kind of explain it, it's kind of like when I played Halo 5. Halo 5 was a huge, major disappointment to me. But it's like, and it made me lose almost all faith for the future of this series. It made me stop caring. But it's like with Halo Wars 2 on its way, I see so much potential to it, mainly because it's like its story looks interesting. It's going back to the classic Halo art style, which I have been so happy about. And not only that, but it's reintroducing the characters and everything that we loved from Halo Wars 1, while introducing a brand new faction known as the Banished, with their leader being Atriox. Which, Atriox right now, so far have I seen it about him, he looks like he's going to be a fantastic Halo villain. Probably the most interesting Halo villain we have seen since probably Halo 3, honestly, or Halo Wars. Like probably most interesting since like Rip Amori or the Prophet of Truth or the Gravemind or something. Like any of those. Atriox looks equally, if not more interesting than some of these other villains. And the reason why is because what's so good about it is it's like, basically Atriox is like forming the Banished of like this faction that rebelled against the original Covenant, and it's like now they're kind of trying to gather more things for power or for an unknown reason. We don't know yet, and I think that's what's going to make it interesting. It's kind of like a little mystery of why the Banished are on the Ark, how the Spirit of Fire got on, and hopefully they explain this stuff in the game, but it's like, for now, I like how they're keeping it kind of mysterious in a way. What's also really great is Halo Wars 2 as a whole, it just has a sense of, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like, you know that feeling you get when you feel like you have this spin-off story and it's cleverly made and it's just really intricate and fun, and then you feel like this should take ties to its main story because it's just so good. That's why I feel like Halo Wars 2 could be, because I honestly think if Halo Wars 2's story is good to the point where Halo Wars 2 is insanely successful and stuff, I think they will take elements from Halo Wars 2 and put them in Halo 6. At the very least, I think maybe the Spirit of Fire will unite with the Infinity or something and form like a resistance against the Created, or I don't know. If nothing else, they at least need the Banished in Halo 6. If nothing else. Because it's like there is an opportunity for an interesting faction. A faction that, unlike most, actually looks like it's a threat. Because I'm going to be honest, guys. It's kind of like when Halo 3 ended, the scale was huge. The Covenant, while Halo 3, in my opinion, the Covenant wasn't as powerful as they were in Halo 2, that's only because, of the power struggle and the fact that Truth tried to purposely get rid of the elites in the council just to seize his power. That's what made Truth a good villain, by the way, and it's like, what made it so good is Truth in the end, it's like him and the Brutes are about to activate the Ark, this huge thing that can activate all the Halo ranks. And it's like the stakes are huge. Not only that, but the Flood was on the Ark and their ships were on their way to Earth. And it was like this huge scale of threat. And it's like, Halo 4, sadly, was never really able to recapture that. That's something I've seen 343's games have had trouble with, is creating a tension of scale. Like, let's be honest. What enemy is kind of like up to that scale where you fear our heroes losing? None really. Like, not to be offensive, the Storm Covenant was kind of a joke. Like, it was like, yes, I understand it was kind of worrying that, they had the ability and the key, the Janus key, that could, like, discover the location of all Forerunner technology and stuff, but here's the thing, they never did. It's not like it was right there in their fingertips and you had to do everything to stop them. No, you were just stopping a key, and even then, like, the Escalation comics just made that a bit dumb, and in the end, the Storm Covenant fell just by, their leader being assassinated by Spartan Locke in just a few squads. Like, just one squad of 4 Spartans, and then after that, the whole Sunayam falls under one attack, and it's just like, it never really captured that scale that it needed to. Same goes with, kind of like, even the, like, like the Didact as well. Like, let's be honest, the Didact, the scale wasn't that big, especially when you look at it now. Like, back in Halo 4, I thought, oh gosh, he's going to exterminate humanity because Earth is still... Oh, but I realized they have the colonies again. So it's like, that scale's ruined as well, and it's kind of like the Didact was mostly just doing that to build an army. An army of Prometheans, which... It's kind of like, yes, it's threatening, but it's not like grand, like, we have to stop him now or all hope is lost. You never get that feeling. Same goes with even the Created. I'm going to be honest. While the Created scale is big, I know for a fact humanity's going to win. It's like, there's no way in my mind that I'm thinking otherwise. No way. Like, there's absolutely zero way I am thinking otherwise. Because why should I? It's kind of like, in general, it's just the Created don't have much really going for them. Since the writing was so bad on them and so many people have rejected it, I bet they're going to probably try to wrap it up as fast as they can anyways, just because of it. All I'm hoping for is maybe it could hint at, like, the return of the Precursors or something. Maybe. Just maybe. And if that's the case, then it'll be cool. But the question is, how can a Banish tied to Halo 6? Well, or Halo Wars 2, anything at that matter. Well, probably the biggest thing is the Spirit of Fire uniting with the Infinity and the Banish coming into play. Now, I'm not sure what the Banish could be used for Halo 6. Okay, gameplay, I know. It's kind of just replacing the Covenant for our enemy, like our standardized enemy, but it's kind of like, what should, story-wise? Well, here's the thing. It's kind of hard to determine, because it's kind of like, I don't know what would happen. Okay, here's the thing I know for a fact, because I know people have been sort of theorizing this, and I kind of want to dispute it, or at the very least kind of give my reasoning, is some people think the Banish would side with Cortana. Personally, I don't think they will. The reason why is actually pretty simple. Think of it. The Banish were willing to rebel against the original Covenant. Now, our full reasoning isn't known. Like, some think it's just because they discovered the journey is a lie. And while that may be true, I think there has to be a bit more than that. And personally, I believe it's just because of the whole system of that. The way the Elcacy is and how the Covenant was always dictated, and not only that, but it was hugely discriminative against brutes. Originally, like later on, as the war against humanity progressed, the brutes started gaining more power till the point the brutes started gaining more power than the elites did, and that's what kind of led to the schism. But the general principle is, I think Atriox kind of did that to avoid the crap, and it's like, I don't think, like, I doubt Atriox would ever side with Cortana due to kind of the pride thing. It's kind of like, since brutes are heavily prideful, it's like, it's kind of the stubbornness saying, I lead. I'm the only one who leads. There is no one to dare oppose me. I am unstoppable, and no one is gonna stand, like, no one is my superior, no one's gonna stand in my way. That's kind of, at least so far, through my knowledge and through the sources we've been given, that is Atriox's mentality. Now, I could see maybe Decimus siding with Cortana, only because Decimus believes it's like the brute belief of might makes right, which I believe that would lead Decimus to join, because if Decimus kind of in a way figured out that Cortana is more powerful than Atriox, then yeah, it could lead to that. But what could the Banished do? Now, I think, despite all intents and purposes, I doubt that they would side with the humans either. As humanity, as far as we're concerned, especially after the events probably that will transpire in Halo Wars 2, is probably going to lead to some friction. Now, I could see them maybe teaming up in a final desperation attempt to kill Cortana, but it's kind of like unlikely. So what could they be used for? I say they could be used to try to secure all the rings. Now think of this. Or maybe, what if they try to steal the Forerunner technology, like the Guardians and stuff, to use against both humanity and Cortana? Because we already know the Banished is sort of enemies of humanity and enemies of sorts of St. Helios. So, which means they could be using the Guardians to, I don't know, maybe the brutes kind of, well, what we know right now is the Banished are kind of opportunists. So, maybe they're going to take advantage of the chaos and use it to get them more power and positioning. Maybe get more, like, of the Covenant species to side with them, knowing that, hey, humanity and the sorts of St. Helios can't protect you, but we can, because we can unite. And then you can have stuff like the Spirit of Fire reunite with the Infinity. And then when the Infinity's down low and everyone's like stuff, the Spirit of Fire comes in and they're like, oh guys, we just got an arsenal. We have all these old tech based weaponry that the Spirit of Fire can provide, and now we have a chance to fight back. So with this in mind, this could serve as a tie to Halo 6. And not only this, but if Halo Wars 2 does tie to Halo 6, especially if it includes the Arc, or heck, even something like Mendicant Bias, that could create an epic story, and maybe it could redeem Halo 6 through Halo 5's created story. You know? Who knows? But in general, guys, that's all I have to say about the Banished right now. Soon I am going to make a history video based off the Banished and kind of their structure, but I will have to wait till I know more about them. But yeah, guys, that's about it. I thank you for watching this video. Please like it up, subscribe, and stay tuned to more content, guys. Your support means everything. And until then, I'll see you next time. This is Dumber Orange 97, and peace out.